my fabulous friends. The hits just keep coming. Wow. So, the distress Harry and Meghan caused the Queen can't be overstated. Bombshell, new book by Hugo Vickers, who met Her Majesty 40 times, tells what royals really thought of Meghan, nickname she was given, and William's warning. So this is Tom Bauer's book came out with all the receipts today, right? So we have all the receipts of all the things that we thought and all the controversies and everything. Hugo Vickers' book is from the point of view of Queen Elizabeth and the royals, and yikes. So let's just see, is this the book that Meghan is afraid of? Is this the book? Because I did that reading yesterday, and will there be any fallout? And it doesn't look like it. If anything, it should be called a dossier rather than a book. Really, that's what it was. It was. It could have been an M16 or M50. Well, M16 because most of it was outside of England. M16. I know I drive you guys crazy. MI6. MI6. On Her Majesty's Secret Service. But now His Majesty's Secret Service. I wonder, yeah, that'll be weird when we see the next James Bond movie. It'll be on His Majesty's, right? We've been so used to on Her Majesty's Secret Service. Anyways, this is the point of view from the royals. This isn't the receipts. Like, really, Tom Bauer's book should have been called a dossier because that's what it was. He has the receipts for everything. He has, the proof and whatnot, and it's just kind of like it's just like it's a dossier. It's everything all kind of tidy written up about all their escapades and whatnot with proof. So let's ask, is this the book that Harry and Meghan are really afraid of? Let's see if it says. Okay, I'm going to read you. Now, this is on exclusive here. So I know a lot of it's behind a paywall. So I'm just going to read you a little bit of the here. At 2:40 p.m. this is an excerpt out of his book. On 2:40 p.m. on the afternoon of May 6, 2019, Prince Harry came into the Royal Mews at Windsor to give the media the news that a boy had been born, just 50 minutes after Buckingham Palace had announced that his wife, the Duchess of Sussex, had gone into labor. She was the first woman to give birth and subsequently go into labor, according to the timeline. Their son Archie had been born at 5:26 a.m. that same morning at the Portland Hospital in London. A photo showing the child's feet was released on Instagram on May 12th. The baby, wrapped and not seen, was also photographed with the Queen Elizabeth, Prince Philip, and Meghan's mother, Doria Ragland, gazing down at him, and that image was released. This set a pattern for publishing photos of the backs of the Sussex children's head that would later become familiar. For the christening on July 6th, the new parents refused to announce who the godparents were. At that point, if not before, it was obvious that things were going to be tricky. I, for one, did not care who the grandparents were, but I resented not being told. There was soon a split between the Cambridges and the Sussexes, the latter setting up their own independent household and moving to Frogmore Cottage in Windsor. Observers noted that Prince Harry's speeches already had a California ring to them. In October 2018, they had visited Australia on a tour that was deemed successful, but every speech that Harry made had been vetted by Meghan. At the Commonwealth Day service at Westminster Abbey in 2018, before their wedding, the couple had been totally in tune. At the same occasion the following year, Harry appeared to be uncomfortable, and the rapport between the two of them looked nil. He also seemed unhappy on Easter Day, and, as I observed in my diary, in a general sense looked like a man who had bitten off more than he could chew. That autumn, the Duchess of Sussex used an overseas visit to Africa to tell Tom Brady of ITN that she was miserable. The royal family became concerned about what was going on in the Sussex household, more so than about Prince Andrew, whose own troubles were mounting. In the end, the Sussexes left for Canada, but Prince Harry returned, keen to discuss a way forward with the Queen. He wanted a half in, half out arrangement whereby he would be self financing but could still work for the royal family. In the year 2020, the private secretaries to the Queen, Charles and William, Sir Edward Young, Sir Clive Alderton, and Simon Case went into a summit mode in the Sandringham estate and drafted a proposal. Prince Harry flew to Sandringham and was told it was either all in or all out. He returned to Canada, reluctantly out. In March 2020, Britain was plunged into lockdown. The Queen, then aged nearly 94, became proficient at Zoom so that her subjects could see her receiving an ambassador remotely or in discussion with charity workers. In Canada, the Sussexes were criticized for moving to California, flying there just before the borders closed. While in England, everyone was working together, they were looking after themselves. The Queen took a dim view of her grandson, saying to a confidant, "And now Harry has opted out. And for what? To be a carer for Archie." The following year, the Duke of Edinburgh, then aged 99, was admitted to Edward VII Hospital in London for tests. On March 1st, he was moved to St. Bartholomew's Hospital, where he had an operation on his heart. Do I have more here? His medical team nearly lost him twice. On Sunday, March 7th, just 6 days later, with no consideration for the stress the Queen was under or for the precarious health of the Duke of Edinburgh, a much heralded interview between the Duchess of Sussex and Oprah Winfrey was screened. It wasn't available in the UK until the following day, but kind friends in America made it possible for me to watch it that Sunday by pointing a camera at their television. My immediate reaction? Sickening. In this notorious show, the Duchess, dressed principally in black, sat with Oprah Winfrey and made serious allegations against the royal family, several of which have since been successfully challenged. In essence, she accused members of the royal family of being racist. Prince Harry was brought on at the end of the interview to show he knew full well what was going on. After that, the Queen issued her famous statement, recollections may vary. And I believe that was actually, it's now been revealed, that was Catherine who told the Queen that, and the Queen said it. A year later, in 2022, it was time for her Platinum Jubilee, though by then no one knew if the Queen would be well enough to take part. Sadly, at the time, when she should have been celebrating the twilight days of the greatest reign in British history, she had much on her mind. Family problems with Prince Harry and the then Prince Andrew, and an increasingly maverick Prime Minister in Boris Johnson. Andrew had stepped down from royal duties in November 2019 for the foreseeable future. By January 2022, he dropped all his public appointments and ceased to use his HRH in public. On top of that, with no admission of liability, a considerable sum of money was donated to Virginia Giuffre, with whom Andrew had allegedly had sex when she was 17, and her charities. This was done so not to overshadow the Jubilee, as we all said it was. Prince Harry, meanwhile, was now settled in California, where he was working with a ghostwriter on his memoir, Spare. Cynically, publication was delayed lest it coincide with the Queen's death. Whenever Prince Harry called his grandmother, she asked her lady-in-waiting to stay with her. The distress the Sussexes caused the Queen in the last years of her life cannot be overestimated. How do I know any of this? My new book is based on 60 years of observation and research, at first from afar, rather like a train spotter or a stamp collector, but gradually closer to the center and more focused. I was lucky to have met the Queen in 1968 when she came to look at the King George VI Memorial Chapel in St. George's Chapel. When I think back to that day, she is fixed in my mind as a young mother of 42 with auburn hair and blue coat, and her young son, Prince Edward, held by the hand. Over a period of 55 years, I must have met her more than 40 times. Sometimes these were just formal meetings, but other times it was a chance to talk. Let's see what else. Anyways, it goes on and on. So he's going to write the viewpoint of the royal family. Is this going to be the nail in the coffin for Meghan? Is this going to be no coming back from this? Like no matter what she says or does, she could turn into Mother Teresa and people will still reject. Let's see. Is this the book that she's more concerned about? Because this is from the royal family point of view. Anyways, I just wanted to read some of that because it's behind a paywall. And I didn't know how many people have that or not. 4 of Pentacles in reverse. She is worried she's going to lose everything. She's worried this is where it comes undone. And we just did that reading. Is for her to continue to get money from Soros, does she have to stay married to Harry? And the answer is yes. And this is going to cost her dearly. She's going to lose a lot of money. Oh, she doesn't know what to do after this book comes out. No future after this book. None at all. None. No future. Temperance in reverse. Oh, this is going to be the nail in the coffin for Meghan Markle. 10 of Cups. She's going to be, but I have the kids. And the 5 of Wands. This is when she'll bring out the children. This is when she'll bring out the children. This is when she'll be fighting for her family. This is the book that's going to trip her up. The Hierophant. The palace. This book is blessed by the palace. This is the book the palace wants written. Or is that William? We've read many times in this tarot parlor that William, he is absolutely after ruining Meghan. And he is, there's no turning, like there's no talking him down. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. She's going to lose so much money. She's going to, she might try to fight it. The Magician. So she's, I think we're going to, that's when we're going to see the children. That's when we're going to see the children, is when this book comes out. We might even hear like the children saying, oh, I like talking on Zoom with Grandma. I really like talking on Zoom with Grandpa. Like to make some of this stuff look bad. The palace wants her to lose everything. There's just going to be a lot of spin doctoring going on here about her family, about her and the kids. The Emperor. Wow. This is the palace and the king are behind this. This is the book that will take her down. The Hangman, and release Harry. And release Harry. We're going to see things from a completely different point of view after reading this book. Now, a lot of us know Meghan, and according to our sources, and according to some of the stories these tarot cards tell, wow, We already know Megan is like a psychopath, according to my sources, according to the story that tarot makes up, right? We don't know that for sure. We should actually do some of our own research on that. Wow. The palace, the king, and William. And this is to free Harry. This is going to mess Meghan up, this book. The High Priestess. Now, in this case, I've always told you, like, when you're doing tarot, you adjust the tarot to what you are reading about. In this case, I'm going to say there's going to be secrets. There's going to be deep, deep secrets. I'm almost going to say this High Priestess is the queen herself. Almost looks like her as a young lady, doesn't it? And I'm going to say that they will be busting open some of the queen's deepest secrets about Harry and Meghan. I'm going to say that I wouldn't be surprised if they even quote from her diaries, quote from what's her is it Amanda Kelly, her stylist and her confidant and the lady who kept her dressed very nice. I think they're going to bring in the receipts as well. I think they're going to be, even though the High Priestess is not in reverse, meaning release of secrets, I think we will be seeing some of these secrets from Queen Elizabeth that up until now have been held. And I'm almost getting the sense as we're reading this book, our intuition is going to be like, yeah, that's what we thought. That's what we thought. Five of Swords, the Sun in reverse, Judgment in reverse, and the Queen of Swords in reverse, and the Eight of Swords. I think this is going to put Meghan into a divorce situation. I think this is it. She has no more chances after this. I think this is their last grasp at freeing Harry from her claw. There she is. Look at the claw. It's in reverse. No more chances. You're going dark. Here comes the divorce. Almost being bullied into it the way she bullied the queen. This is their last hurrah at freeing Harry from being a victim. Now, I have no sympathy for Harry whatsoever. He's an adult, and has been for quite a while. He makes his own decisions, and he's been supporting all of this. Otherwise, he'd say so. He's a grown man. You know, you want to be bossed around by some trailer trash. Well, that's your own sexual fantasy, but don't do it in public. Eight of Swords, Six of Cups. There he is, the Hermit in reverse. The Hermit in reverse, the Seven of Wands, and the Queen of Wands in reverse. Knight of Swords. Yeah, this book, there they are. The Hermit in reverse, the Queen of Wands in reverse. They'll be defending themselves. But this is going to go way there. I actually think this is going to go back a little bit further and maybe more in depth of Harry's incompetence. And also we might hear something about the children in this book. I mean, he's already dipped into all we've seen is the feet and a bundled baby. And that was the start of just seeing the back of heads. Interesting, because there are a couple of pictures of Archie. Remember that Christmas card, and he was crawling towards the camera, and then that picture of Archie in Victoria. Remember wearing that like beanie head or bunny head or something? I wonder if he's alluding to that wasn't Archie. Because he would have said, other than a handful of pictures that we've seen of Archie as a baby, like with Desmond Tutu in South Africa, he just said that was the beginning of just seeing the back of the children's heads. Interesting comment. Sometimes you have to read between the lines. So is he suggesting the pictures that we have seen of Archie as a baby was not Archie at all? Friend's baby, borrowed baby? I think this book is the one that's going to take them down. That Harry, if he continues with Meghan after this book, he's finished. Zero hope. I mean, right now, there's zero hope, but I think after this book and people see what he had done to his grandparents and his other family members and how much Meghan was in control, I think if he doesn't leave her, go live in a cave, Harry, because nobody will ever respect you after this. You'll just be a little browbeaten beta boy. There you go. Well done, Prince of the Realm. Well done. All right, well, a couple of really deep readings today. Let's see if we can get something a little lighter for tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. Please take good care. See you online. Bye for now.